and welcome to NUFC Talk. And Yanis, I can't help noticing that you're donning a lovely top, mate.
Suppose, isn't it?
So this is great podcasting. So for anybody who's listening on the pod, it is the fourth kit, the reserve third kit, or the training top, which they had to use because apparently every colour clashes with blue.
I can understand that as well.
I think it was because everyone said they should go to the third kit, and because Brighton's back doesn't have the stripes going all the way through, it's just a big white patch where the numbers. And so I think that's what it came down to at the end. But yeah, this top split fans' opinions, didn't it?
I know. I'll take my money, man. I love it. It's really nice.
I know. So let us know, were you one of the fans like me and Yanis who we almost wore matching tops tonight, so we had a
fourth kit wankers.
Yeah, an emergency last minute change before we recorded. But yeah, let us know, were you one of the people that bought the fourth kit? It's going might be one of them collector's editions in years to come. You know, kids are like in the 20s, like, oh, Dad, remember that shirt that Newcastle wore once at Brighton away, that 0-0? Like, funny enough, son.
That classic 0-0.
Yeah, but some fans are like, oh, it's just a way of getting money. It's like, if you don't want it, just don't buy it.
I know.
But
I know. I do. There is like I understand with the cost of living and everything, and people are like sort of, everyone's taking their belts. I understand that, but
you don't have to buy it.
You don't have to buy it. It's not like you got to choose between heating your house and buying the Newcastle shirt. Just heat your house first, mate. You know what I mean? If you're not heating your house because you've spent 55 quid on a training top, then
fair.
Then you're the problem, pal. So I bought it. I was like, have my money. This is the first time I bought this season, though. I haven't bought the new one. I'm gonna buy the new. I'm gonna buy the third kit, I think, as well, and the black metal.
And the blue one, partway through the season.
And the keeper chop. And probably a few Castor pairs of trackies in the winter. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's better, I think, because nothing to talk in the game.
I know, yeah. There's a few talking points, but probably not the most positive. Let's go through the social media first before we dive into the game. So if you haven't got us already, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok, just search NUFC Talk Pod. And then if you want to speak to me and Yanis individually, or get us as our personal pages, where we're most active is Twitter, so you can get me GLEN, so it's Glen with one N _NUFC.
And at Yanis NUFC.
And come along, say hi. Had my first tweet of the season, which pissed off some fans, mate.
I know.
First viral tweet on Sunday morning. I woke up on Sunday feeling jolly, looked outside in the garden, the sun was shining. I thought, oh, what a great day. Why am I feeling so positive? Newcastle won 4 points, which took us about 8 weeks to get to that. Yeah, how many games was it last season to get to 4 points? Must be like November or something before we got rid of Bug.
Yeah.
I'm back into October. Anyway, hell of a lot longer, so I was like 4 points, 2 clean sheets. Man United in absolute fucking tatters.
I do love that.
That was class. Everton on no points, and goalkeeper scoring against Sunderland. That was pretty much my tweet.
The goalkeeper scored against Sunderland was. I didn't see it. I saw like the last minute equaliser, and I shared it on Twitter. And one of my mates commented to me like, and it was the goalkeeper, and I was just like, even better.
Even better. So yeah, that was my tweet. So obviously mentioned 3 clubs. So I got pelters off Everton again, which I'm just getting used to that now. The odd Sunderland fan chimed in. The only fans that didn't actually give us any grief, and I'm still not even sure they've appeared on social media, is no Man United fans.
I didn't. I
wonder if hope they're okay.
Just crying. It's funny. Side note before we get into Newcastle, do you think like the think that Man United's like reign at the top tier of football is like done for like 20 years? You know, Liverpool took 30 years to come back to the top again, and it was only like really getting Klopp. And some amazing recruitment and stuff. But
it'll be a full process again, won't it? Not because of lack of income, we just have to put a squad together. And even when Man City came into money and there was no financial fair play and they found all the ways around it and all that jazz, it took them 5 years to put a side together, because you can't just bring superstars together and expect them to work. It takes time for them to gel.
But do you think like because it's not like it is in England's not like it is in sort of Spain or like Scotland or other leagues where 2 or 3 always have dominated for like donkey's years. it's not quite the same in England. There's been like Man United have been on top at periods, but also they haven't been on top, and like they weren't great in the 80s and stuff at the start of Fergie and things like that.
We've got no listeners in Germany, so you can still call it the Farmers League. It's okay.
Well, yeah, there's no one yet. So the Bundesliga where like the top one or two always win 9 every season, but it's not quite the same. There's like cyclical runs where the big clubs have their moments, but Everton were massive, Wolves will be massive, Leeds will be massive. There's been plenty of teams that have had their time on top. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Huddersfield have got 2 league title, like top league division
If you go
title
back far
wins.
enough, even Sunderland and Newcastle.
Well, not Sunderland. They're not getting back to the top. But do you know what I mean? Like, is it cyclical? Do you think it's like? Do you think Man United are done for the next like generation, or do you think our kids will grow up not seeing Man United until maybe they're like adults, win something again, like major again? Because I fucking hope so. I really do. Like,
I think when their machine's that big, because them as a club, how much money they generate is still astronomical. I was listening to TalkSport today, and they were saying that they've spent like over $1 billion. They've sold 300 players, and they worked out. It was Sam Matterface was talking, and he said something like they've spent 700 million or 800 million as a loss, but because the club is such a commercial monster, it's still within financial fair play. Like everyone's giving the Glazers all this crap, which fair enough, they are taking money out of the club, but they're still putting money back in there to spend. They've spent 700 million on players, or 1.2 million, and they've sold 300, so it's like 900 million in spend. So yeah.
there was a class tweet that somebody put out.
But how can you spend nearly $1 billion and not have a squad, and still have a squad that would look like it needs 500 million to fix it?
I don't know. Is it? Well, that's the
Yeah.
That's the off the field stuff. But it was a great tweet that somebody, a Newcastle fan, put out, basically saying like all this media stuff about Man United. Well, here is the last like 14 years worth of signings, and it was all of Newcastle's marquee signings versus like Man United's marquee signings of that year, and it is fucking staggering when you say like Newcastle saying Luke Remy on loan for like 2 million, and they're saying like Di Maria for 67 million, and they're bitching on like.
Yeah.
It is interesting, but anyway.
Yeah.
Should we talk about some other?
Should we talk about Brighton?
Yeah.
So we mentioned this last week, and I think every Newcastle fan knew it was going to be a bit more of a task, a bit more of a challenge than Forest. Man, I think we hit Forest the right point first game of the season. Even with one more week of them playing together, they look loads better against West Ham.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at Brighton, we knew they were going to be well drilled. You've got to give Brighton some credit as well. They sold Cucurella, they sold Basuma, and they just replaced them with other squad players. They just so well drilled.
Yeah, like, aren't they?
And the biggest thing I took from the first half was we were just overrun in midfield.
We really were. They did us what we did to like Villa and West Ham, and like Everton. Were the first time we played Everton last season. Like what we did to even Chelsea to a degree. You know, where Chelsea fucking robbed us. They did that to us. Like we really couldn't get on the ball at all. Like it was.
Well, before we go through individual moments, the I suppose the biggest news came out before kickoff when Dan Burn was announced as he was playing left back, and Botman was getting his first Premier League start. Matt Target picked up a dead leg against Forest.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you just got a dead leg. You just ran off in 10 minutes. Yeah. It takes him a week.
And at lunchtime, you're done.
So we started off with Nick Pope in goal. Trippier, Shah, Botman, Burn.
Were you surprised that Manquillo didn't start left back? He's never fancied Manquillo, has he? Really? He's never seemed to really fancy Manquillo.
I can't remember Burn too much at Brighton. I was aware of him, knew him as a player, but I can't say I knew too much about him. So I knew he had played left back. This was probably the first game, for obvious reasons, I watched with interest Dan Burn at left back, and it didn't look amazing.
No.
As much as
he's not a left back, is he?
As much as I'm a Dan Burn fan. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second.
Do you think it's do you think it's more to go on?
Yeah, so there was Bruno, Willock, Joe Linton, then top three, Miggy, Wilson and St Maximin. So yeah, when my natural gut feeling, if I hadn't heard the starting 11 and I got told Target's got a dead leg, my gut would have been, okay, Manquillo goes in at left back.
Yeah. Maybe
even Dummett goes in at left back.
Maybe Trippier could go left back, Manquillo go right back, Trippier go left back, Kraft go right back.
Yeah,
Trippier played left back for England a couple times.
Kraft wasn't on on the bench, so he might still be carrying a knock. Right, actually, yeah, he's got a knock, so but still Manquillo could have gone right back.
Yeah.
So you're right, Trippier's played left back.
Done it for England.
Yeah, you're right. So my thought would not have been to put Burn there. It would have been Manquillo first, then
Maybe it's an early doors excuse to get Sven Botman at the side.
you reckon?
Maybe.
Because there was rumours that he come out and openly said like in behind closed doors that he was annoyed he didn't start. Like
The big Sven.
yeah, but I can't imagine Eddie being.
Of course he would be. You want to be. I'd be more worried if a 34 million centre half was like, actually, don't blame me next week, boss. I'm all right.
Quite cosy these seats on it. Got a good view.
Yeah. So I don't mind. I mean, you don't mind that if it comes up from behind closed doors, says he's sort of chapped the boss's door and said, look,
Aye.
I'm not coming to sit on the bench. I don't mind that. I don't. If he's seen it in the dressing room, Dan Burn, you shout at me, player, then it's a bit of a different story. But maybe
You're not going to say that, Dan Burn.
no. Man, he's not a small guy either, to be fair.
Yeah.
But maybe it is just a bit of like an easy way to shift Sven Botman at the team, and now Sven Botman's pretty decent. Like.
So what you're saying is basically Target's got to now fight for his left back position back up Dan Burn.
Well, I think yeah, Sven Botman played centre half, and
I thought you played really well.
I know that's the thing as well. So it's an
really
excuse to get him in the team early without having because it's not as easy as like bringing Bruno on because you can bring him in for half an hour, 20 minutes.
You don't do that centre half.
You can't take a centre half off and give someone a rail with 10 minutes to go. Like
No, I know what you mean. So the starting points, and we'll go into the left back conversation. The first thing I noticed, first game, Trippier, we praised him for his passing and for reading of the game in the first game against Forest, but there was the odd time he didn't look as. I do remember him being not slow, but not. I've seen him get done a few times, and Trossard did him in the first few minutes, and I was like, oh.
I absolutely done it, yeah. I think that was just the one where he nicks that great when he's defended for you gamble. It doesn't come off like he's not a particularly quick player, I don't think Trippier, but Trossard's quite quick. Yeah, he doesn't there. That was basically the start of it, wasn't it?
That was the start, and then from that I think Joe Linton had the first sloppy pass in the middle, and then the first half was just basically them closing us down, being all over us. Joe Linton, Bruno looked flustered.
Bruno did look flustered for the first.
Yeah, the first time he didn't look like he had time on the ball.
But I think there's more. ASM give the ball away loads of times. Bruno, Joe Linton, and that. But it's not just the person on the ball getting pressured. It's the options off the ball that get pressured.
Yeah.
When you play them, like that's what they do really well. Is they don't allow you to have an easy get out option to put the ball off to. So where are you gonna pass it like?
Yeah, it was just them being well drilled. It was really good for them. I just much is a bit painstaking, yeah. Because when Joe Linton had a pass go astray, that led to the attempt where Trippier cleaned it off the line, and Nick Pope got a hand to it. Trippier almost cleaned it off the line twice, didn't he? Like stopped it and then juggled it on the line and cleared it. So
both him and Shaw took a touch on the line. That was Solly Marsh's shot. I think that was like
Sonny Marsh. He could have had a hat trick.
If he could have finished his dinner. Like I think the next one was Lallana when that came from Bruno getting dispossessed in the middle.
Yeah, he had a shot from out wide. And then for anybody who didn't watch the game, maybe just caught Match of the Day, it's quite funny because I remember watching this thing and I just mentioned to you beforehand that the disallowed goal didn't make the highlights. So if it wasn't for Shearer bringing it up, most people wouldn't have known there was Newcastle actually put the ball in the net. So if you haven't seen it yet, Wilson dinks it over Dunk. Dunk goes up to header it. Wilson clips it over him again and puts it past him, but the ref blows for dangerous play after the second night time puts it over his head. So at that point he hasn't hit him in the head. It's gone past him. So why would you not let the play finish and then go back and check it? He's put the ball over him. Wilson's about to shoot, but he blows at that point there. So that's when the keeper drops his arms and Wilson puts it past him.
I know. I don't think the keeper saves that because I said to you before, when they hit into the ground, the keeper's naturally going down and it comes up again. Like I don't think he saves that either. Like unless he stands up as he did, which they very rarely do when it goes on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He's about a foot. I mean, Shearer was saying on Match of the Day he's a yard away. I don't know. I don't know.
That's definitely the striker sticking up for the striker there.
He's about a foot away. But a la Sean Longstaff was it last season? Sean Longstaff when he got like basically kicked in the head, and like we didn't get anything for it, and it went to VAR, and I'm like, nah, not enough in that. I don't know. Wait, it's a foot away. It's a high boot, but
I think he's in his right to go for it.
yeah,
Like that, you are going to put your if you kicking the ball over someone's head, you're going to go up to meet it. You're not going to just wait on the floor and let the defender have a free head at it.
I know, but
If it's the other way around, we go mental.
Yeah.
If that's Danny Welbeck nearly taking off Fabian Schär's,
If he's doing it, Dan Burn, fucking hell, he's getting his foot getting high.
yeah, his hamstring's going.
That's him on the sideline again.
Welbeck doing the splits.
I think that's what I always try and look at, like, objectively. If it's other way around, I'm screaming for a free kick there.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. He is about a foot away. I do agree with you. I agree with you that it should be allowed to play on. Mm-hmm. It should go into the net, and then they should go to VAR, and VAR should say, have a look at the monitor and see if you think this is serious, like endangering an opponent, or because that's what it's got to be, an endangered opponent. Because you put your foot as high as you want, as long as no one's there.
Yeah.
So it's got to be endangered.
It just confused me. They'd gone past him. He hadn't kicked him. They could have gone past him and said, "Oh, it was dangerous play," but he hadn't actually touched him, so nobody was hurt.
And so I don't think it would be. So I think VAR doesn't overturn it. I don't think VAR overturns it if it goes to VAR. I think if it goes to VAR, it goes in 1-0, and Newcastle somehow get away with 3 points after being battered.
Yeah. Yep. And then did you see the Wilson penalty where he got?
No, I was
away for a pen.
I was watching it at a barbecue, so I was watching it with like 15 kids running around and that. But
because you were overseas and you were watching it whilst you're on holiday for 3 hours, weren't you?
I've got a special way of watching it.
Yeah.
I was in the box, so once you be in a box, you get a special way of watching it.
Okay, yeah. Special pass. But I was definitely shot on penalty when I seen it, when he sort of took Wilson out on the edge.
So I didn't say that wasn't in the highest neither.
Match of the day.
Soft.
Seen it given, definitely seen it given. When I saw it, I was definitely shouting for it. But I got waved away. Wilson was definitely going at him. Mind that Wilson rubbed up the ref from the start of the game.
Did he?
So I don't think he was going to get anything which was on the line. So yeah, I've seen it given. But
I didn't think the ref gave us much though when I was watching it.
No.
I didn't think he gave us anything. Like all the little niggles in the middle of the park and stuff. I think didn't go our way.
Yeah, it was one of them ones.
Home crowd, eh?
Yeah. Then the first half, my note to you was, I was relieved when it got to half time and 0-0.
Yeah.
Now I was watching the game with my father and I said, like, we've done well to get to half time at 0-0 there. Because the first half we just overran. And I thought Eddie Howe might come in, tell everyone to take 5, have a breather, reset. But the second half, not a great deal changed.
I thought the second half was even. I thought Brighton were more on top second half than the game.
Yeah.
I think I said 2-0. You said 2-1, right? I think I said 2-0. But I did say they were dominating large parts. I thought the game would be largely like this. The only difference being we have Wilson is more clinical.
But then I checked the possession stats. How much possession in Brighton had?
I would. It's not the dark old days of 19% for Newcastle, but I reckon it'd have been, I don't know, like 60% Brighton.
So Brighton had 54%.
It's interesting that.
Yeah, I was quite surprised that, because the way the game felt.
That was Nick Pope catching the ball with 45 times.
So yeah, then they had a
Lallana header.
Yeah. Got to score there.
Yeah, he's got to score. It's good. I mean, it's a good save.
It's a great save, yeah.
He's kind of behind him, like, but he's got to score. Like.
Nick Pope was probably just buzzing off the fact he'd gone viral and
what is that about? That Toon pulls.
Yeah, Nick Pope had gone everywhere, and
it was mad how it didn't just go. It went like proper global viral. Like every random is out. Like just some random places in the US will just put Nick Pope. Yeah, it was class.
So random.
Pretty, like I remember watching it when I saw trending 3,000 tweets in the last hour. Then it was like 44,000 tweets in the last hour. It was class, but he must have been buzzing. It should have been trending the day after. To be fair, it was great class.
Yeah, totally. And then where do we go to next?
Solly Marsh chance is the next one. I think that's the one that gets cut across the box. That's the one that goes down his right. That's the best save of the day.
That's a great save, especially as a taller keeper getting down so low, strong hand. He didn't just palm it back into the play as well. So I think Nick Pope's starting to show why. I don't think Dubravka saves that header for one. I think close to him, Dubravka's pretty good with him.
Yeah, he's
but
shot.
diving back on himself, like I think that's definitely a.
If we'd already conceded 3, Dubravka would have saved all them. But like he's brilliant when we've already getting battered, but he's always got to climb at you. I think Nick Pope has as well, to be fair. But it was good. It was interesting. I know skipping into the game, hearing Eddie Howe talking about you saw him command his box and coming out and being a presence last week.
Mm-hmm.
This week you saw like what he's all about. So I don't think there's any argument about number 1 now. Like I think, Dubravka's just like.
We've seen Nick Pope in 2 types of corners now. So there's the Brighton one where they put Dunk and everyone's around the keeper being horrible, and you took all the balls then, compared to Forest where they actually have nobody in the box for their corners and they all charged in. Yeah, we didn't actually mention that last week. One of the most bizarre corner.
That's probably because I had 8 pints with him. Well, I think I would say, I think it was harsh on Nick Pope. Do you know the very, very start where Trippier gets done and Sully Marsh thing is like tries to drive it across, and there's a lot of like talk about your poor hand and he gets lucky there, Nick Pope, and he sort of nicks it round.
It looked like he palmed it.
Did it not deflect on? Did it not deflect off Shaw? The initial save. And then I was like, that's a freaking brilliant save.
Because Pope did that in the Forest game where he palmed it with one hand and almost like a basketball run and bounced it and caught it. So it's done that in both games. So
yeah, I thought it was good. But anyway,
hashtag Nick Pope, leave him alone.
After that,
the onslaught continued.
Shaw off the line's probably the next one. Really,
we missing the Welbeck chance where Dan Burn came in and had a slide tackle and stopped it. That was off the back of a little scramble that could have been going in. You're right, Shaw off the line. Is it Gross he's called? He should have scored as well.
That's what the tapping that comes across. Not a tapping, but the one where he's like 6 yards out and gets driven across to him.
Yeah, and then Sonny Marsh. No, Gross was on that missed. Yeah,
he was on that missed. I think I was.
Looking back at them chances, if that's against Man City, that's like 5-0.
Well, that's kind of Brighton's issue, isn't it? They don't have like even somebody like Wilson, Watkins, Danny Ings, like all those like decent sort of outside the top 6 strikers. They'd be 3 or 4 league positions ahead. Like they'd be sort of towards the top 8. They don't have anybody clinical enough, but they're a good side to watch. But I will say though, it's proper resilient. Like it was a back to the wall. Everyone's diving. Everyone's like trying to block everything. Everyone's getting back on the line. It was a different. It wasn't like we were battered where we were just pathetic and just slumped shoulders and just we were so deep on the edge of our box. We still tried to play.
Yeah.
All right, it didn't work all the time, and we lost Bruno, Joel Linton, and ASM. I think there was still a kick clash in their eyes because fucking couldn't find
a pass, could they?
Couldn't find a pass, but like I think we weren't camped on the edge of our own box. It wasn't like a back to the wall where we were just defending. It just happened to overrun and we just outplayed. Really resilient, you know.
I know what you mean, yeah, and that's what I was going to say. It was a different type of good performance. Whereas if that's the dark old days of Bruce and we've got friggin' Clark and everyone's playing out of position and Richie's playing left back, that's a batter on that. Like we're not getting a point from that. That was some team spirit. So I think one thing as Newcastle fans, and let us know if you agree or disagree. I think that's one thing we can take from that performance is we showed that even when we're not playing well, when we're clearly the second best team, to come away with a clean sheet and a point against a decent Brighton side, that's a positive result.
Yeah, you can weather those kind of periods in games. It just turned out the period was 90 minutes long.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention though, Jan, and I know in Newcastle we're in a positive place anywhere and the fans are all really happy, so I don't want to come across as like Captain Negative here and bring a point which...
But you're going to do your best to.
I'm going to do my best to, yeah. I'm going to try and turn that smile into a frown, mate. There's 2 weeks left of the transfer window as we record, which we're going to talk about transfers in a little bit. I think we have a decent starting 11, I do, which can compete against most teams. But when games aren't going according to plan, so the back end of last season was great. We were making subs and they were just coming into the the momentum of the game and the flow. It's always great, easy to slot in. But these types of games where you maybe wanted a sub to change a game, or you wanted a sub to do something different where we kind of keep hold of the ball, or we're getting battered in the middle. You want someone to maybe come on, be like a flair player and have that moment where they can...
Just a game changer, yeah. Someone create something, yeah.
We don't have the person on the bench. And I know it's a project, but we're into game week 2. We've got an injury which has already showed a bit of... We haven't got depth in the middle, because our substitutions, for anyone who didn't catch the game and seen this, we made 3 substitutions. And the 75th minute we brought on Murphy for Maximin, we brought on Longstaff for Willock, and in the 87th we brought on Wood for Wilson. So let's just go through them replacements. Jacob Murphy, he is a average to poor Premier League player.
Yeah, he's like a relegation.
Yeah.
He's like bottom 5.
He's the type of player that can go from Norwich to Burnley to Watford and bounce around them teams.
He's a bottom 5 player. Yeah.
Longstaff, we all want him to be great, but he's a average Premier League player. He's a squad player.
Yeah.
But now he's the first choice substitution in midfield, or them weeks where we're going to be rotating. He's not going to be able to command that role, I don't think, permanently. Because if you pick up one more injury, he's in the starting 11 and you have to play 90 minutes.
Well, I think...
And one second, then the other one is Chris Wood, who we've all said isn't good enough to be starting 11 for where we want to be.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you said there. I think Murphy's off a cliff. Like, and that's even Alan to Murphy. It's like there's a huge drop there as well.
Fraser must have a knock then, does he?
I don't think he was on the bench, was he?
So the unused subs, Richie, who, if we had enough players, I think he would run his way.
Yeah.
Anderson is still obviously yet to prove himself. Eddie Howe is kept around because of lack of bodies. So I think he'll stay unless we bring him 2 or 3 signs, which I don't think. So I think he'll be around. You'll get the odd game when we're winning. Dubravka, and then the other 3 unused subs were all defenders, which was Dummett, Lascelles and Manquillo. So already we've got Fraser, who is out. We've got Kraft, who is out. And we've got John Joe Shelby. So 2 games in, we're carrying 3 injuries. And the squad already looks a bit bare. So I'm sorry to Newcastle fans who are really positive enough, maybe pissed on your cornflakes at you.
Yeah.
But that just worried me a little bit.
No, I get it. I think on the Shelby situation...
So I know I'd give you 10 different points to talk about that, didn't I?
I think the Shelby situation for me is the one that I was going to ask you this as well. Does that mean we need to go back into the transfer market now? Because we are a better side when we get Bruno further forward. We are. And if we've got to wait till basically post the World Cup to see him...
It's going to be the new year, isn't it?
It's not in the 6 rule, yeah. Is that now somewhere where we need to look to bring somebody as that? Or do you look at Longstaff and say we're going to have to put Longstaff in a 6 and in order to get Bruno further forward? Because I just think we're not wasting him by stretch of imagination, but I think he's so much better in it. I think that's where I want him. So that's one thing. But I totally agree with you. The drop off now, if we've got real aspirations of top 8, the drop off to bring in Murphy on is, Chris Wood is just too much of a drop. So we do need. I do think we will strengthen. I think there'll be 2 more players. There's talk of Conor Gallagher being brought in. If you want to go into this, I don't know if you want to go into the...
There's one more point in the game, then we'll dive into them, mate, if that's all
But yeah,
right.
I think, I know you don't want to Debbie Downer, but it has to be a bit concern. I think Shelby was a proper kick in the teeth, getting Shelby injured, really, because he's one player that actually really do need him a lot. Like,
Shelby is one of them players, like Maxi, where you don't realise what he brings to the team until he's not there. Like, all these people are fucking, look at Maxi, can't pass again, blah, 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 blah. But when you're a fan favourite, like Bruno and Joe Linton lost the ball probably just as many times, but because the fan favourite...
Maxi was getting hammered, and Bruno was like, his first poor game.
Yeah.
And it was... Yeah, he was poor.
Yeah.
I think he gave the ball away about 3 times in the first 25 minutes.
Yeah. So, yeah...
Shite. Get rid of it.
Yeah. But that makes you realise how long it's not going to be a quick fix. There's not going to be 2 seasons to win the Premier League.
No.
Unless you get a freak year like Leicester. But when you look at teams like Liverpool, Man City, to a certain extent, Chelsea, I know they're going through a bit of a transition, but it's a luxury transitional period to go through. When you look at them and the like-for-likes and just switch in and switch out, you realise how long it takes, especially to win the Premier League now compared to what it took 10 years ago. Like, you pretty much need 100 points to win the league. So you have to be nigh and perfect most games.
It's mad, isn't it? Like, I was watching that All or Nothing documentary with Arsenal.
The Arsenal one.
Aye.
It's pretty decent. I watched
loads of it. I think I've watched most of them. I've watched like the earlier Rams ones and all that sort of stuff. They're fascinating, I think. But it's interesting when you talk about that, when Edu's talking about when he has the board up, and he's talking about we've got these 4 players and like right back, we need to rebalance this, and we've got these 2 players. So they look at it like a squad as in how many players we have in this position. And if you're looking at Newcastle's, the drop off of like quality is like it is.
They've got certain players printing out 3 times in he can cover here.
So Richie can be right back, left back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be really concerned if we. No, I wouldn't be concerned, but I would be disappointed if we're going into the if the transfer window finished.
Yeah,
as we are.
Mm-hmm. Dan Burn left back. I'm not convinced.
No, I think that was I think the other option was keep him playing centre half, playing Manquillo. I don't think he fancies Manquillo for whatever reason.
Yeah,
because he played. Do you know why I don't think he fancied Manquillo? Because he played Kraft over him at the start, and Kraft was freaking awful. And Kraft was awful under Bruce. And really,
I didn't think he was a footballer.
I thought he was the same kind of footballer as Joe Linton was under Bruce.
Yeah,
but Manquillo, I don't think ever really, unless he didn't never put a foot wrong, but he was always solid. He's good 1-on-1. He's not an amazing player, but I think he's always been. I was never worried if he's playing right back or left back. He had a mistake in him. But the fact he didn't play Manquillo, he played Kraft. It's now been a master stroke because obviously Kraft looks like he's solid.
Yeah.
But the fact, I don't know if he doesn't fancy Manquillo or if it's just a way of getting Sven Botman into the side without dropping down Burn. But now
I think it's more he just doesn't fancy Manquillo. I don't think you deliberately put Burn left back because he wanted to get Botman in. So yeah, and then man of the match, we both said Nick Pope. We put it on Twitter and everyone mentioned Nick Pope. And if you go on the Premier League app, just give it to Trippier. So a bit of an odd one. Moving into transfers, mate. We've just been linked today. Strange one. I don't think anyone would have called this as João Pedro, Watford. We've had a £20 million offer, which is 70.5 plus 2.5 million add-ons, turned down.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to put some other numbers with that, Emmanuel Dennis has just joined Forest for 20 million, the exact same fee, which they've turned down for Pedro. And then was it last week on the pod we talked about this, or 2 weeks ago on the channel as well? We weren't willing to pay Cornet's minimum trigger, which was 70.5. Seems a bit of an odd one. And you've still got Ismail Sarr, who scores from the halfway line. He's still kicking out there. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. The Sarr one, first of all, is quite strange because this will be now Championship season number 2 after going back down.
Yeah.
Because he was classed in the Championship, came up, there was the Man U talk that he was going to go to United. Remember, 20 million a couple of seasons ago. It didn't happen.
Was that the start of last season?
No, that was the season before. That was when he was in the Championship, the season before.
Oh, right.
Then he came back up, played in the Premier League.
Because he scored a hatful at the start of the season, didn't he? And then he went to the African Cup of Nations, picked up a knock.
And wasn't really seen again at all, basically, was he? So that was a strange one, because if there must be something, I don't know whether he's like wage demands or whatever it is, there must be something in it, because for him to then have 2 seasons, if he once away in the Championship and no one picked him up from the Premier League, that would be, there must be something in there, because why isn't some Premier League shooter, why isn't like a Bournemouth or a Forest looking at him? Or one of the lowest like Premier League sides that could go and spend 25 million on him and get him, because he's proven that he can score goals in the Premier League.
Then I was reading before that the Watford fans no fans, I'll try again, third time lucky. The Watford players almost had like a little celebration amongst them when it got announced that Dennis had been sold.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a strange one as well. If you're letting Dennis go, who scored a hatful of goals for you last season for 20 million, but you want to let João Pedro, obviously, it's the dynamic shifted now because Dennis is now gone.
Yeah.
It's not as easy to let João Pedro go now because you've lost one body.
So João Pedro, 20-year-old, his season in the Championship, played 38, scored 9. Season in the Premier League, played 28, scored 3. And all Newcastle fans will remember that goal he scored at St James's when we drew 1-1.
Sick about that.
Maxi put us ahead and then he got a header. Yeah.
Sickener.
Yeah. So we all know him, but I've never heard anybody mention his name until about 3 or 4 hours ago when it popped up.
No, the in the knows had no idea, did they?
Nah, did they fuck?
They really didn't.
They're so in the know they decided not to let anyone know.
Yeah, just to tell themselves.
They're sat in the
in
bedroom.
their WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, sat in the bedroom talking about it, telling the mums.
So
Mum, I know this so much. I'm only going to tell you and Dad.
I do think I think he's a solid signing because who would you rather see come off the bench, João Pedro or Murphy? I think he's in.
But where's his natural position? He's down as a forward.
I think where he can play the right, left, or in the middle. So again,
is he much of an improvement on Wood?
I think it's better. Yeah, I'd rather have him up there than Wood. Like he's more in the Callum Wilson mould. Chris Wood is so far removed from what Callum Wilson is that it's almost having to play a different style of football to get anything out of him.
The only thing I can see, you're right there. I suppose it is a different style. Wood's 29, João Pedro's 20, so they must see something in him. And
he's quick. He's got good feet. Like
I suppose we've got to, in Eddie we trust, we've got to go what he sees, and he wouldn't be mentioning if you didn't believe in him. But then he is Brazilian.
Exactly. So I'm less bothered about Dennis, to be honest with you, because he was so hot and cold last season. Corney was the more surprising one. Corney was the one that I thought like we really could have gone for, like 17.5 million. We could have come to us, definitely.
Yeah. Again, I know we're not going to find out everything, but from what we read and what Sky reported, Newcastle weren't willing to meet 17.5 million, which just seems a bit mad when we've gone in first bid against for João Pedro at 20. Watford's turned on and said no because no one's going to accept the first offer from Newcastle and say he's not for sale. So,
but also if they just sold Dennis, Sar's only an offer away from going as well at some point. You know, like there might be more risk now that they probably need a body first. The next one to talk about was obviously the Conor Gallagher. That if they do that, I'm like, yeah, buzzing. I'm a massive Conor Gallagher fan. Like, I think he's class.
I think
he's absolutely perfect as well.
I put this on Twitter this afternoon where if he comes, I'd put that up there with a marquee signing. Yeah. And some people might think, oh, is that bonkers? And some Newcastle fans like, oh, I wouldn't have Gallagher. Like, to me, it's like,
you don't watch football.
It's like, give you a fucking shake. Like, you must only watch Newcastle play, and that's it. Like, Conor Gallagher last season was class. I heard people saying, oh, he went missing for too many parts of the season. Like, he was injured for part of the season. That's the only thing I think.
He doesn't just score goals, the way he's an assist. He's like,
a box.
Proper box to box. He's a throwback.
He broke into the England squad. He's still only a young'un. I cannot imagine anybody, like, if that's one of the polls where would you want Conor Gallagher, I'd expect it to be like 99% because some Sunderland fans voted no, just because they're fucking weird. But
for me, no brainer for me. Like,
I agree. I just can't see it happen.
I can see it happening because if he wants to play for England or get on that plane, he's got to be playing football, and he ain't going to be playing football if they sign on another midfielder. And clearly they want to sign on the midfielder because Tuchel's never really fancied Loftus-Cheek, and it clearly not fancied Conor, even though Loftus-Cheek played class the other day, but he's never really fancied Conor Gallagher, obviously, because he put him on loan. So
when he came off the bench on Sunday, I'm like, oh man.
And yeah. So
like, sit there, don't bring one.
But
tell me shit.
You got Kovacic, you've got
Jorginho,
Kante, who picked up a knock which might scunner things.
Yeah.
But they're talking about Frankie de Jong. If they get
I
Frankie de
would
Jong,
love Frankie de Jong for 2 reasons.
they're scunner Man United. Aye.
You've searched for this guy for 3 months. We're not even sure if we really want him. We're just going to have him anyway to piss you off.
Yeah. So, and then I think that frees up the move.
Yeah.
For Ghana. So I think and I do think they need to improve there because Kante has got 18 months of like niggles and injuries. He's not the same player he used to be. Kante, Jorginho.
We've still got Ross Barkley on the bench.
Aye, Ross Barkley's always kicking about, isn't he?
Danny Drinkwater still there, man.
No, I saw his contract, didn't he? Left on a free. Play for Maidenhead or something now.
That was the most random transfer anyway.
Bartley's still there, like. But yeah, so I do think that could happen, but it's dependent on whether they sign a Frankie de Jong. But I think we'll bring somebody in. I would be disappointed if we got in the transfer window and there was just in this business. Even though I think the business has been brilliant, I think it's really good. I think Botman is what we absolutely needed. I think Nick Pope was, even though I wouldn't have said it was a priority, it's clearly been a good signing.
Good sign, yeah.
Target getting him permanent, brilliant. But if we're going with those striking options and that bench, as you mentioned, I don't see us getting any real chance of hitting. There's an outside chance Newcastle could squeeze towards the top 6. I don't think we're going to get there, but I think we're still behind West Ham. I think we're squad wise behind Villa, still. But I'm not saying we should be ahead where they are, but yeah, that's where.
Sorry, what you mentioned Villa there. Look at the way that Eddie Howe and Steven Gerrard has both changed the captains. Which, looking at it, Eddie Howe came out and said Lascelles is our club captain. He's on the bench every game, so he's going to have to pick a match day captain. So he's give the band obviously the Trippier, which everyone, including Lascelles, knows. Yeah. If you see what Steven Gerrard said, I don't know if you've seen this. But
he's got to look him in the eye and that, didn't he?
Yeah, he took the armband off Mings.
Tyrone Mings' eye.
And so he's got to look me in the eye and tell me that he wants to play and give it to McGinn.
Yeah.
And said, "Oh, you're now captain." What a way to split your dressing room and piss people off. If you want to get a reaction from Mings, fair enough. But like, that's a bit of a fucking weird way of doing it. And like, just to strip him as captain, you could still say, "Look, you're club captain. Like, we're gonna, if you're on the bench or you," but then it's even more awkward now. Carlos, whatever he's called, has done his ACL or his 10. So now Mings is going to have to come back in the start 11 every week.
If we're not be captain.
Yeah.
It's strange that, like, especially when Tyrone Mings, like...
Maybe Gerrard's going to have to look Mings in the eye and say, "Look, now I need you. now I need you to play."
Look, give me your arm, because you put this band on you. I think it's... Yeah, that was a strange one, that how he did it. Especially Tyrone Mings, because, like, his background on that is, like, he was come from, like, literally nothing. I'm sure he was, like, really impoverished now as a kid and that. And he's, like... He's come from this, like, really... hard background, and if you actually listen, I watched an interview where he talks about like his business ventures and stuff outside of football. He comes across as somebody who's like really articulate. He's not. I don't think he's a. Maybe Gerrard wants him just to be like football. And he's got maybe too much going on outside of football. But yeah, the difference how it's been handled. That's why I said I think Villa have a better squad. Like I think they're ahead. No, I don't have a better squad. I think they're ahead of a squad, but it's got more depth in more areas, and we don't have depth. But I think hands down we have a better manager than Eddie Howe, 100%.
Yeah.
And there was some Newcastle fan put a tweet out being like the kind of media wank fest over Gerrard and Lampard, these two up and coming English managers. It should have been the Amex, Potter and Eddie Howe, because they're the best two English managers currently managing the league. Like hands down, I don't think Lampard and Gerrard are a patch on them.
Totally.
Aye.
So we've got 2 pods, mate, left of the transfer window. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can start reporting some shit and not going through rumours and...
Well, but still, we are still bidding. Who do we were preparing a bid apparently for Gomez?
Gomez, depends what you read. Gomez, like this morning I woke up, whilst I was having a coffee, I was reading that Ramos has committed his future to Benfica. I'm like, alright, no bother. Went to work, left the office, flicked to the Sky Sports, and was like, Newcastle's preparing a bid for Ramos. Like, so it depends.
But we are active. There are bids happening. Like João Pedro is a bid. We've made, so like
Madison.
as much. Yeah, so like
Madison was preparing a third bid, but we haven't heard anything about that one.
So like, there is money still there. There is money that they are happy to spend.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I'm confident. It's not like the dark old days when there was just like silence until like the last day and we're trying to get a loan over the line. It was anything worse than hearing Pardew say over the line.
Yeah, trying to get. I think we'll be one of the clubs that's getting reported on transfer deadline day.
Oh yeah, but I want to see. I want to see Harry Redknapp out his car window. Don't even know how he'd be there, but I want to see him being tough. Let's get Nico Crancher, let's get Crouchy, let's get the ball in. I loved it. I do love deadline day, like so.
Moving on to City, mate.
Oof.
Oh yeah, I know. So, Man City, Newcastle, Man City on Sunday 4:30 kickoff.
Yeah.
Think we'll change formation.
That was one of my points. Is going to be 3 at the back ? Glen. Yeah.
Or is it 5 at the back, and you say it's 3 at the back to try and look not like you're parking the bus?
Well, you could put Dan Burn left back. You could put Sven Botman. No, not left centre half. Sorry, Sven Botman in the middle and Shaw. It's a naturally really well balanced back three. Dan Burns hasn't played it before as well.
Got your wing backs. Hopefully, Matty Target will be over his dead leg, and Trippier go on the right, and
then but I don't know. I don't think it's much. I think it's 2-0 City. I'm saying I don't think like.
Yeah, it's still.
You can play however you want. You can unless we take every chance we get, the 1 or 2 chances we get, we get lucky, we nullify City, a couple of players have an off day, everything needs to go in your favour to get to get anything out of the game, like, really.
Yeah, it's still a step too far for any Newcastle fan to predicting a win, even a point against City. Like,
would it be bouncing? St James would be bouncing, like getting early doors, give it Haaland some early doors. That's it, he's made of.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I can't see anything except it.
De Bruyne looked class as well last week, didn't he?
I know, yeah.
He looked so good.
De Bruyne's looking amazing. Haaland.
It's hope he starts Grealish.
That's the only hope. The only hope is Grealish.
At least then they'll pass it backwards now and then.
Yeah. I would love to see Miggy clatter Grealish.
You'll love me going, yes. Yeah, that'll be...
You see Miggy and he's all 7 stone, like put Grealish over one of the sponsor boards.
I'd rather see Grealish get nutmegged by him as he goes flying past them, but nah, I can't.
Because I would match up, wouldn't he? Because
would I be playing?
Grealish is at left wing, Miggy's right.
Well, he'd be playing right back, wouldn't he? Not 8 at the back.
Yeah.
One of our 2 right backs. I don't know. I don't think we should change formation personally. I think it's an option. I think it's an option we could go to. We obviously did it last year against Chelsea, but it was kind of different. We were high, we pressed high at the pitch. But I think if we went
4-5-1, where the
I just think you took the wingers in. You try and play Maxi on the break. You just get an arm run as a defensive midfielder, basically tucking in, and.
You sound like Steve Bruce.
Well, I think that's what you have to do. You have to get the numbers back, and then you get Willock and drill it into run their asses off, basically, and try and flood the midfield with bodies. Really,
that's it. Let them know that they're there early.
What do you do if you go 4 at the back? Are you playing Dan Burn? Are you playing Sven Botman?
Actually, this is a point I didn't mention. I meant to bring this up. After Pope, Botman was my man of the match.
Yeah, he saw it like.
He won a bunch of headers. I can't remember him doing anything wrong. Like, yes, Burn had a he was playing out of position, you could argue. He got a last ditch save and tackle. So Burn didn't do a great deal wrong, but I think Botman showed his class there. And for me, if Target's fit and we go to a back 4, that's Botman saying, look, this is my position.
No sentiment in football, man. There's no sentiment. We don't owe Dan Burn anything, and Dan Burn doesn't owe us anything. You know, he's paid handsomely. I imagine he got a healthy uplift in salary to come to us, play for his boyhood club. Great, that's brilliant. But you gotta be ruthless, man.
I know.
It is shit because he's from Blythe and all that.
You want him to do well. Same as like you want Longstaff to do well, and same you want like Elliot Anderson to come and be a Phil Foden. But right now we need to put the best team out there to win. And my humble opinion, which means absolutely fuck all of us. That's what I want. What would you do?
I agree. Yeah, that's it now. I think Botman. I think he's looks solid. You don't need a, you don't want to be bedding in. You don't want time and stuff. You don't, because when else do you do it? At what point do you then make that call? There's like 6 more games, and then you try and transition it that way. Like,
I think Eddie Howe was waiting for an injury, a suspension, a double game week to bring him
Howler,
in.
Summit.
And this maybe was like hang on, you're right. That could have been the chance. All right, Ben, we're not going to drop you, lad. Go left back. Bring Botman in centre half.
We're now going to drop you.
How good is he though? Hey, Dan, you can see how
we weren't going to drop you, but actually, did you see that?
But Dan, I don't know if you noticed, but there's this unit we paid 35 million for. He's way better.
Aye.
Hey,
and this is it. But Sven Botman, this is the big time. Erling Haaland, this is what.
Look, you fast forward 2 seasons, our squad's going to look very different again because we've got a bunch of players, 29, 30-year-olds. You've got Shelby, Shah, Pope, Byrne, Wilson, all on the Dubravka's 32 as well.
Pope is the one you'd see. He's probably got 4 or 5 years.
It's a keeper, yeah. But there's a lot of players around the Trippier 31.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players around that mark where, for us to go to the next level at that age, they're going to go for a backup player, a cup player.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm jumping ahead of ourselves by about 2 seasons there.
Yeah.
And a couple of league cups.
Botman for me. What do you think? Scores? What are you saying?
If we get away with a point, I think everyone's buzzing. But yeah, I can't see anything other than
I'd absolutely buzz off a 0-0.
Yeah.
Oh, boring 0-0.
A City 2-0. Look, we got beat by them 4-0 last year, and we didn't play bad.
I know that.
So if we can play well, play not bad and get beat 2-0, that's an improvement.
Yeah. We've drawn. We drew 2-2. Matt Ritchie's pen later on.
Maybe that's a secret
Who scored the De Bruyne scored the in off the bar belter. John Joe Shelby scored the belter, didn't he? Top bag, remember?
Yes.
Equalised, and then we got that late sort of pen.
Maybe.
I mean, rule out Matt Ritchie.
Yeah, that's something. Right, moving on. FPL.
Yeah, FPL. Right.
We've
So my asset are playing currently.
Yeah, as we're chatting right now, Liverpool, they're currently getting beat 1-0 actually randomly.
Fucking shite, man. I'm getting rid of that Trent, like. Awful.
So yeah, FPL this week, I think I'm on a respectable 59 points with Liverpool to play, but judging by what's going on, it's probably not going to get over 65.
I know, I was dreading after Haaland only got an assist. I was absolutely dreading like a Salah hat-trick, like, because he'd have been captained by.
He might do.
But the league's that many people in it, like. Yeah, I'm thinking on 60 points as well. Got a couple of players to play.
Yeah. Shah Wars is still number 1 in our league.
Yeah, solid.
Early doors, though, you can't really see how your team's lying until you get to about 10. Plus, this season, it is going to be different with the World Cup, where you've got them unlimited transfers happening then. Like last year when there was like the COVID kicked in, and I think people were going into Christmas playing like 5-a-side teams, weren't they?
I know. There's nothing worse than like announcement just before the match that 4 your players are playing.
Yeah, he's got COVID. Like, no.
You look at your bench, you're like, it's worse than Newcastle's. Murphy, get yourself warmed up, lad. You're starting
centre forward. Yeah, but if you have
to stay in it, you've got to stay in the mix at the minute.
That's it. First 10 games, nothing to worry about. Just
be there come Christmas.
But if anyone hasn't, you get 2 wild cards. So if you're looking tactically, you can probably play a wild card after about 6 games in.
So then you get a lot of people played wild cards first game. So they didn't play the City players, play the wild card, brought the City players in for last week.
But that's what people like triple captain people.
I remember they ain't got a clue about football. He triple captain Wilson, bless him.
Oh no, did he?
Yeah, he's scunnered out of a goal though, and 3 bonus points. Could have been a master stroke that.
You know, there's 250,000 people captain Haaland against Bournemouth.
I captained them.
Sorry, triple captain them.
Oh, I didn't triple captain. Triple captain with double game weeks only. That's always my.
Yeah, but have you noticed watching Sky Sports News that they've started bringing in FPL stats? So I was sat the other morning watching the breakfast, having my breakfast, watching it, and like watching me breakfast. And like you see like the random news coming along the bottom, this, that and the other, and you see like the leagues, leading goal scorers, most foul players, blah blah. There was like most points, and it got me attention because Shah was up there. It was like most FPL points, percentages owned, and then for the game that was on Sunday, was it the Chelsea game? It came up randomly like percentage owned, like before the game, and it gives you like stats like games and Premier League games and FPL percentage owned. Like, isn't it mad how FPL is now getting into Sky stats?
I remember
making it in the news.
I remember I was working in a factory about 40 years ago, and I remember like getting the Sun paper, cutting the thing out, putting my team in, and like you sent it off. Yeah, posted it, and you couldn't do a transfer until like January.
Yeah.
You have to have Gerrard because it was basically because I did the Sun paper. It was whatever the Sun writers deemed the score, so they give him like 8 or 10. And Gerrard, honestly, he could do a 2-foot tackle, elbow somebody, spit in the crowd, and he'd still get 8 out of 10. You have Gerrard in your team.
Maul someone with a corner flag.
8 out of 10. That was the very first one I remember doing, like the Sun Dream Team.
Sun Dream Team. I remember that one. But I also remember when you, I might be showing me age here, so hopefully remember. Jim used to get like Match and Shoot, the football magazines.
Yeah.
And then in the adverts, they'd be like you could join like a fantasy football manager. So before they won like the games and stuff. So I remember joining one and used to get them sent through the post. So you used to open up a letter and they'd be like 10 sheets deep, and have like your squad on there, have like youth squad, and have like random bits of news on there, and you could either do them like as fake teams or real teams, like depending on which league you went with. So I remember I got fucking Air United one. Air United.
Absolutely furious.
So I stuck with it. So
like third tier Scottish football. Or
yeah, so I'm fucking coaching Air United. But what you have to do, you used to put your money in, or you write a check, put your money in, and then you'd have to go back and put your envelope, put your stamp on, and post it back out by a certain date. And then that used to be your team. Somehow they used to put in a computer, or some person just laugh and make up a score, send you back like a match report. Then I used to remember as a kid like getting back from school and like open up the letter.
Oh, go beat again.
Yeah, fucking Air United getting hammered 4-0. Like, oh, I'll put me £1.20 back.
Come on, lads.
Sending it off, like, and you used to pick your formations and like suggested subs like, oh, Kerrigan, who was called the forward, like, I'll take him off at 70 minutes. And yeah, that was, God, I'm sure me and G were, yeah.
Back in the day.
That was the first fantasy football. It was done through the post. I used to have to put like money in it and send it off. Sounds a bit scammy, really does.
Mugged you right up. Air United. I wonder if everyone got Air United.
Yeah, everyone got Air United. That was the first fantasy football.
I do remember that you only did transfers in the transfer window, and you only do 3 or something. I can't really remember, but you definitely couldn't do them like every week like you can now. And so if you spent like half your budget on Lampard, or if or somebody who got injured, what was it? you had.
It's like COVID every year on.
It was just like
no players.
You only had 8 players playing until like, so you come to the transfer window and you would only have 8 players playing.
You just basically had to buy robust players that would like literally just kick the shit out of other people.
So yeah, that was the first. But I just stayed at first 5-6 games. I'm a wild card soon, like.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, wild card 4 or 5 games.
Alright. Well, there you have talk fantasy football from the 90s, the noughties, and now. I don't think we give you any tips. But there you go. If you haven't already joined, make sure you check in on the channels. We've got all the codes to join our league. If you haven't got us already on social medias, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, NUFC Talk Pod. If you want to get us direct, Glen_NUFC and Yanis
NUFC.
Yeah, that was on Twitter. But yeah, we've got Man City on Sunday. We'll be coming to you at the start of next week. Thanks for downloading, thanks for subscribing. And yeah, have an enjoyable weekend. Here we go, Man City.